The astronomical downfall of school lunches in the USA has to be studied, has to be talked about, discussed even, if you will. Trust me, I am disgusted. I'm sure it's been discussed here on YouTube before, but now it's my turn to talk about just how bad this downfall truly was. I mean, it's worse than any other fall off recorded in history. As I've stated in the past, although I do look like a divorced dad of two, I'm actually just 22 years old. And since I'm 22, I was 8 years old when the school lunch program was changed by Michelle Obama in 2010. 8.5, technically. And up until 2010, we had absolutely nothing but banging school lunches at my cafeteria. And all my friends can back me up on this, and I'm sure many of you can too. We had 10, 12, 13 chicken nuggets. We had thick and creamy mac and cheese, whole fat mashed potatoes. We had those chicken sandwiches that were like properly fried and not breaded in that weird new breading. Big greasy pizzas. We had brownie Fridays and hot fudge days. We had everything, and it was perfect. It was so perfect. And we had PB&Js as a snack every day. You could choose that if you wanted to. And it was amazing until old Michelle decided to come along and ruin everything for everybody. Yes, her intentions might have been good. Let's lower the obesity rate in children. I'm down for that. I don't want everybody to be fat, It's good to lower the obesity rate, right? And in a way, she actually succeeded, because me and a ton of my friends would not eat lunch several days a week because of how disgusting this gruel that they were feeding us was. So yes, Michelle, you succeeded in making us lose weight because we didn't eat the food that you gave us. It was horrible. It wasn't even palatable most of the time. And it wasn't just my school that shares this sentiment. There's schools across the nation do. And I want you guys to comment below, like, these nasty lunches that you had. I'm about to get into some of the ones that we had. There was nothing like going to school on a random Tuesday and getting one of those, like, inverse pizza quesadilla things and biting into it and tasting that nice taste of what only can be described as wood shavings and tomato paste, and then going over to your sides and seeing these nasty canned reduced sodium green beans on the side that you could just gorge your face full. Such a delectable meal for a 13-year-old kid. Or on Pizza Friday, when you'd come in and you'd get a nice slice of that square pizza that used to be really good, used to be fantastic. But now the cheese would barely melt because it was almost plastic grade, and the sauce was non-existent. Or what about those warm, like, ham and cheese hoagie things where there'd be like this nasty meat byproduct with melted plasticky cheese on top shoved in bread that's 3 times thicker than the ingredients? What about the Salisbury steak that was full of like mystery meat and covered in some giblet gravy type stuff with a side of liquid mashed potatoes for a delicious add-on to the meal? Now you might think I'm being a little bit too harsh on old Michelle Obama. You might think, you know what, Jared, you should be grateful that you had the opportunity to eat lunch at school. And I am grateful, except for the fact that I was paying to eat these lunches the same price that I was paying to eat the good food before. And by I mean my parents. So, I would go in there every month with my $25 check to give to the lunch lady, and I would be getting fed literal dog food compared to what I used to have, but it was the same price. And I was poor growing up, but I wasn't poor enough to get free food, so I was literally out here scraping the bottom of the barrel to feed myself food that I know that I wouldn't like. I was literally paying, like, all my parents' expendable income for mystery meat doused in some liquid goo stuff. It all tasted like it was made by AI or something. So did it work? Did Michelle's escapade into helping obese children work? No, it didn't work. Now, childhood obesity has skyrocketed in the past 10 years, but it's not all Michelle's fault. There are other factors like, lack of movement, the soy products and the oils and foods and the dyes and foods that contributes to it as well. I'm not blaming it all on Michelle, but Michelle, if kids were gonna get fat, they might as well have gotten fat off of good food, dude. What were you making us eat? I mean, you're seeing the pictures right now. What in the world was this, right? What is this? I'll never forgive her for taking the normal, thick and juicy, big Uncrustables away and Pop-Tarts and giving us those tiny little half-size Pop-Tarts and Uncrustables with the zero sugar. Oh my gosh, it tasted like cardboard dipped in paint. It was awful. And I can't even stress enough how bad the chicken sandwiches became, because used to, the chicken patty sandwich was the go-to. Every Wednesday, you get a chicken patty sandwich, you get some mac and cheese, you get this nice lemonade from the stand. But then after 2010, The patty was no longer properly breaded. It was like this weird like coating, because you couldn't have the oil because of the obesity. The mac and cheese became runny and not thick and creamy like real mac and cheese. They took all the fat and half out of it. And the lemonade had too much sugar, so it went away. And they gave us that half fat 5% milk. It took these amazing foods that were feeding all these kids and gave us this absolute disgusting food. And like I said, I'm not complaining about having food. I'm complaining about having to pay for this food as a kid. And probably the biggest offender of what they took away from us was the Mexican, the Spanish food. So we used to have like taco salad or Taco Tuesdays and burritos and stuff with these like really good beans and rice and beef. And then you all know how the beef got to be tasting, right? I'm sure you remember the ground beef mystery meat taste. And the sour cream became, low-fat sour cream. They took away the proper rice, and they fed us that weird crunchy rice. They took away all the good stuff that made the Taco Tuesdays good, like the tortillas and everything. And they gave us these stale-tasting crunchy tacos because it was healthier. And overall, it was just a bad time. There was nothing else to look forward to. You'd get those little menus that would give you the entire menu for the month, and you would look at that and scoff because nothing was good on there. There was nothing good about it. The only thing they still had that were good were those little tiny like hot dog and the breading. That was okay. I forget what they're called, but those were okay. And do I even need to mention the random Thursday that we would walk into the cafeteria and we'd grab our trays and set it down, and we would be given a hot dog, a roll, and a side of corn, and that was the meal. Like, they wouldn't give us a bun. It would literally be like a sausage link like this long, and they would give us a roll and corn. And I know that I'm not the only one that had that because I saw it on Reddit. Why was that a thing? Why was a random lunch literally a tube of meat, roll, and corn? What are we doing here? No wonder the American youth hates it here. And the poor sweet old lunch ladies, man, they knew how bad it was. And they were very well aware, and they hated it. They hated the fact that they had to give us this nasty food. There was just one old granny that would do the checkout line in my elementary school, and she was so sad every time we get our trays, and she didn't think it was enough for us to eat. She was one of those people that was, you gotta eat food that sticks to your ribs, that kind of thing. And she was mad, dude. She was mad it was taken away. And she was always talking about how there's not enough food for everybody, and how everybody needs to be eating more, and how it's just not good anymore. And I applaud that lunch lady. I do. Live life for the lunch lady. Her name was Big Mama. I'm not even kidding. Like I said, the intention was good, but in practice, it was absolute dog water. In taste, too. That's how it tasted. It was dog water. They should have seen how bad it got. They should have reversed it and fixed it. So as of today, I'm officially announcing my presidential candidate bid. I'm running for president with the sole ticket of me reverting the school lunches back to normal. That's my running platform. So vote for me in the next election. Vote for Brugly 2024. You're going to get your school lunches back because of me. Okay?